Hello everyone, whether you are expecting it or not, right after Luis we are getting Sakura now. Looks like Micah is pushing the new generation Barn team a lot faster, even if that means obliterating the story timeline. Apparently Sakura's event story, especially the last chapter, is a spoiler for the major event that we haven't gotten yet, so be prepared for it or skip it if you care. Honestly, even though I want to believe that they won't alter the major events order, at this point I won't be surprised if they go for Lorelei next instead of Voimastina, who knows. Anyway, besides that, we need to know if Sakura is worth pulling for in your account or you can safely skip her. Also, with the Vector rerun alongside, is picking Vector Dupes better over Sakura? We'll go over her kit details, Vertebrae, team comps, etc. to figure this out in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. I will start with the TLDR like always. Sakura is a Barn Vanguard type unit using SMG weapon. She is usually considered a sub DPS unit with high mobility like other Vanguards and does mostly AoE damage but has single target as well. She is a core member of the new generation Barn trio with Luis and Lorelei. And honestly, her value in there is not because of her damage potential. She kinda lacks that a lot, but because she is solely the battery for charging thermal conduction to stack up ember buffs faster. This is the same mechanic that we learned from Luis's kit, where you charge thermal conduction up to 35 with searing flames, which gives the ember buff to whole team. This is the core system of the new generation Barn team instead of the out of turn attacks mechanic of the old generation team. And Sakura helps with reaching that 35 counter faster. She is also one of the best teen soldier holders for Luis. So if you are playing Luis and Sakura together, make sure Sakura gets one teen soldier and the other can go on Vector. Sakura's own core mechanic is called Sakura Mark. We will learn more about that when discussing her skill kit, but this is what helps her charge the thermal conduction faster. And that is pretty much what Sakura does and is good for. As I mentioned before, she isn't the greatest damage dealer, at least not at low dupes, so her pulling recommendation is pretty easy. Are you interested in building the second generation Barn team? If you are not, then you can safely skip her. If yes, then get her V0 now. That's it. Beyond V0, in my opinion, you should only go for V6. I mean, she has a couple good vertebrae in between, but they mainly boost her own damage, which is not what we are prioritizing. We are only interested in using her as the battery, and V0 is sufficient for that. You are better off saving the rest for Lorelei V2. And if you are whaling, go for V6. But even at V6, she won't become a hyper carry or something like that. That's still either V6 Chua or V6 Luis. Now for Sakura personally, if you are going for the lowest expenditure build, you do not need to pull her signature weapon. You can give her Swarog, it's fine. But her signature weapon is really good even on other dolls like Leva. And since we don't have more than one Swarog and as an F2P multiple dolls might be fighting over it, getting Sakura's signature is not a bad investment for your account either. Anyway, that's Sakura's TLDR, but I also wanted to touch on Vector versus Sakura pulling priority here. Since both of their banners will be on at the same time, if you are wondering who to get if only one of them, here's my thoughts. As mentioned before, if you are not interested in the new generation Barn team, no need to pull Sakura. But even if you are interested, I would say Vector V0 and Vector V1 are more priority to get over Sakura V0. The consideration comes when thinking about Vector V2. With the new expansion key on Vector, she can now become the healer for the team, replacing Centaroisi and opening up another spot. But only healing is not enough. We need debuff cleansing from our support, and that's where comes the need for Vector V2. So if you are planning to replace Cent and only run Vector as the sole support of your Barn team, then you need her V2. But there's a caveat. We don't know when Lorelei will come, but we do know she is coming sooner or later. And V1 plus Lorelei will do the exact same thing that Vector V2 will do, and will make that V2 obsolete. And Lorelei is one of the highest recommended pull for all teams, not only Barn. So if you already know that you are gonna pull for Lorelei for sure, and you can hold off in the meantime using Centaroisi, then no need to get Vector V2 right away. That's the situation right now. So if you are going to build the new gen Barn team, I would say Sakura V0 is slightly higher prior than Vector V2 for you. If not, then also it's up to you if you want Vector V2 right now or want to wait for Lorelei. Let's move on to Sakura's skill kit now. After the complicated stuff from Luis's kit, Sakura's kit is much easier and simple. Her skill 1 is the mobility skill. She can jump to 2 tile radius of any ally doll or an enemy with the Sakura mark, and deals AoE burn damage equal to 60% attack to all enemies in a 2 tile radius. She gains extra command after this skill. So what is Sakura mark? I said that's our core mechanic, let's see. When an enemy with Sakura mark on them takes any burn damage, it consumes 1 Sakura mark stack, causing a 2-tile radius AoE burn damage equal to 60% Sakura's attack. So it has basically the same damaging effect as the skill 1, and Sakura mark can stack up to 3 times. That's it. So how does that help in charging thermal conduction? We will learn that soon, but just know that putting and maintaining Sakura mark on enemies is basically the main role of Sakura. Anyway, her skill 2 is single target attack in a 7-tile range, dealing 130% attack equivalent burn damage, and this applies 2 stacks of Sakura mark on them. Also, when using this skill, before the attack happens, she puts a bad luck debuff on the enemy for 3 turns, which increases their damage taken from Sakura mark by 10%. Next is her ultimate. She does AoE burn damage in a 3x10 area in front of her in a straight line, equal to 90% of her attack. This also puts 3 stacks of Sakura mark on all the enemies caught in the AoE, and after the attack immediately triggers all 3 Sakura mark stacks on them. She also gains 2 Confectance Index and a good luck buff for 2 turns after the attack. The good luck buff puts 1 Sakura mark on a target before her active attacks. Lastly, her passive is what ties everything together. She gains thermal conduction at the start of battle, just like Louis, and whenever a Sakura mark is triggered, except from her ult, she gains 2 Searing Flames, which is the counter towards 35. So now you know why the Sakura marks are important in getting the counter up faster. That's not all of her passive. At the start of each turn, she gains 2 Confectance Index, and she applies 2 stacks of Sakura mark to 3 random enemies on field. Also, when Sakura has good luck, her damage is increased by 20%. That's all of Sakura's kit, pretty straightforward. Keep putting Sakura mark on and they will keep charging thermal conduction when triggered by other burn damages. Now for our Vertebrae levels, I mentioned V0 is enough, but let me quickly mention the important ones. Her V1 basically buffs the Sakura mark damage multiplier and also helps on mobbing stages with more Sakura marks on more enemies. Her V3 can generate burn tiles with Sakura mark and also buffs her damage and crit damage significantly, as well as gives Sakura mark 15% defense ignore, so this is a key breakpoint in boosting her damage output quite a lot. And lastly, V6 is actually beneficial for the new generation burn team. When she has good luck, whenever an ally does an active attack or out of turn support attack, Sakura applies 1 stack of Sakura mark on the target before that. This can happen 3 times per turn, meaning even faster battery. And that's pretty much the gist of Sakura's dupes. Talking about her weapons, her signature is really good. It's kind of a burn version of Swarog, but it can be used on other elemental dolls like Levi as well, who can take advantage of the out of turn attack damage buff from this weapon. And the defense ignore is always a positive for any unit. If you are just pulling V0 Sakura, you don't have to pull this one, it's not a must pull. You can absolutely do work with Swarog, the F2P weapon. But SMGs are currently in demand and there's multiple SMG units in a lot of teams who are fighting over Swarog, especially if you are F2P. So in that regard, this signature is a great pull for you if you need a good SSR SMG for versatility, even if you are not pulling Sakura. Beyond these though, the Battle Pass one is the third choice on her, and if nothing else, get her whatever SR SMG you got. If you are lucky and pull the SR version of her signature while pulling her, you can give that to her as well. Moving on to her build now, you can put on her either the Phase Strike or Burn Boost set. Burn Boost is slightly better damage, but Phase Strike is the more universal farming choice. You should already have a couple SMG Phase Strike sets. Stat priorities are the standard attack percentage, then flat attack followed by crit rate and then crit damage. You want to target 4k plus attack, 100% crit rate and about 185% crit damage for an in-game full build on her. Her best in slot fixed keys are Fixed Key 1 to put more Sakura marks on enemies, Fixed Key 3 to dispel enemy buffs, and Fixed Key 4 to put bad luck on bosses at battle start. As for the common keys, her own one is one of the best key on Klukai, so evolve that and get it on her immediately. Most other good keys for Sakura are more prioritized on QJ, Vector, Louis, etc. So the best bets will be Vipli common key as well as Litara and Sarkri common keys. There's no immediate need to level up her remolding code to 60, you can get it to 30 for now and push further later. Recommended flower choices are Thronebreaker and Area Specialization from red flowers, Beheading Blade and Area Smite from purple flowers, and HP Enhancement or Annular Defense from blue flowers. As for her team synergy, we mentioned she belongs primarily in the new generation Burn team, where she is one of the Teen Soldier holders for Louis, and the third one of that trio is Lorelei. The best meta Burn team of future, as can be seen from CN, will have Vector and Chihuahua. But we don't have Lorelei right now, so we gotta replace her with QJ instead. If you can't play both Chihuahua and Luis in this team, since you might have to borrow only one, then that needs to be Luis V6, and you can play your own Sakura or Centaurisi in place of Chihuahua. If you got V2 Vector, then you don't need Scent, otherwise Scent will be needed for the cleanses in boss fights. These are the main team options for Sakura. Her skill rotation differs before and after her V2. Before V2, the rotation looks like this. You want to utilize the extra command of her skill 1 whenever possible. V2 reduces her skill 1 cost by 1 point, and so the rotation changes a bit and looks more like this one. You can even do 3 attacks on some of your turns this way. Make sure to position her correctly at the beginning to get one of Luis's Tin Soldier on her at battle start. And that is her full kit and build. Time for the final verdict. Sakura is a very cute looking doll, and if you like her design or going for collection, then just go for it. Nothing should stop you. If you consider meta before pulling, then here's the summary. Like I said before, only get her if you want to build and play the new generation Burn team. Otherwise, you can safely skip her. We already have a full old generation Burn team that's performing absolutely fine, and you can keep saving to build your other elemental teams. But if you do want to play that new Burn team, I would recommend getting Sakura V0 at the least, and that should be enough. As a F2P or low spender, you don't need any dupes. I wouldn't recommend pulling her signature just for her. Get her Swarog and that should be it. The next breakpoint you should practically aim for is directly her V6. As mentioned before, V1 and V3 are good for her personally, but that's not gonna improve your final team play significantly. So go for V6 if you can, otherwise stay V0. You can get her signature weapon anytime you feel the need. That concludes the review for Sakura. She gets us one step closer to the new gen Burn team, and now we wait for Lorelei. Let me know what's your thoughts about her. Are you considering pulling her or continuing saving for Voimastina and others? In any case, if you have enjoyed this video and found it helpful, feel free to drop a like and subscribe, hit the new hype button, join the channel membership or send a super thanks. I have 3 channel members now. A huge shout out to all of you, and I really appreciate your constant support on my channel and my videos. Thank you all for watching and stay tuned for more Girls Frontline 2 content. I'll catch you later. Goodbye.